Welcome to Mwaki Insights. Today we delve into a shocking development: North Korea's military involvement in Russia's war against Ukraine. What are the implications for global alliances, and how might this reshape the future of the conflict? Stay tuned for a deep dive into this geopolitical twist. The world was stunned as the first images surfaced. North Korean soldiers, far from their isolated homeland, were now active on Ukrainian soil. This unexpected move has escalated the conflict, adding a new layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. The presence of North Korean troops underscores the global reach of this conflict, sending shockwaves through international relations. It raises critical questions about global security and the shifting dynamics of power on the world stage. Kim Jong-un's decision to deploy troops to Ukraine is a calculated risk. It signals a deepening alliance with Russia, driven by shared interests and a common adversary in the West. This alliance could reshape the geopolitical landscape, creating new challenges and uncertainties for the international community. The involvement of North Korean troops in Ukraine is more than symbolic. It represents a tangible manifestation of a growing alliance between two of the world's most isolated and authoritarian regimes. This alliance, driven by a shared antipathy towards the West and a desire to challenge the existing world order, has the potential to escalate tensions and fuel global instability. To grasp the current dynamics between North Korea and Russia, we must explore the deep historical ties that have shaped their relationship. The roots of this relationship trace back to the aftermath of World War II, when the Soviet Union was instrumental in establishing North Korea as a communist state. In the early years, the Soviet Union provided extensive economic and military support to North Korea, forging a bond that would last for decades. However, this relationship has been marked by periods of tension and complexity. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 was a significant turning point, leaving North Korea without its primary benefactor and plunging it into economic hardship. Despite a cooling of relations in the subsequent years, the strategic interests between Moscow and Pyongyang persisted. Russia, keen to maintain its influence in the Asia-Pacific region, viewed North Korea as a crucial buffer against the expanding power of the United States and its allies. In recent years, the relationship between Russia and North Korea has seen a notable revival. This renewed partnership is driven by shared economic interests, mutual distrust of the West, and a common goal to challenge the established global order. For Russia, North Korea is a valuable ally in its efforts to counter Western influence and advance its own geopolitical ambitions. Kim Jong-un's decision to send troops to Ukraine is a high-stakes gamble, driven by a mix of urgent needs and strategic calculations. North Korea, crippled by international sanctions and facing chronic food shortages, is in dire need of resources. Russia, grappling with its own economic challenges due to Western sanctions, can offer vital economic support in return for military aid. Beyond immediate material gains, Kim Jong-un aims to bolster his regime's legitimacy and security. Aligning with Russia allows Kim to project an image of strength and defiance on the global stage. This alliance symbolizes his regime's resilience against international pressure and isolation. Strengthening ties with Russia provides North Korea with a powerful ally, potentially shielding it from military actions by the United States and its allies. Kim's calculated risk could have significant implications for the Korean Peninsula and the broader region. By involving himself in the Ukraine conflict, Kim is playing a dangerous game that could escalate tensions and lead to unforeseen consequences. For a leader facing mounting internal pressures and seeking to secure his grip on power, the potential rewards may outweigh the risks. The exact number of North Korean troops in Ukraine is unknown, but their presence is confirmed. Frontline reports indicate North Korean soldiers are mainly in support roles, logistics, engineering, and possibly combat in high-casualty zones. This allows Russia to save its own troops for strategic missions and tests military cooperation with Pyongyang. The presence of North Korean troops carries significant symbolic weight. It highlights the global dimensions of the conflict and Russia's willingness to ally with pariah states. This raises concerns about potential transfers of sensitive military technology from Russia to North Korea, destabilizing the Korean Peninsula and beyond. The deployment of North Korean troops to Ukraine underscores the deepening military cooperation between Moscow and Pyongyang. This partnership, driven by shared strategic interests, could alter the conflict's course and reshape Eastern Europe's security landscape. A pact of autocrats. the growing axis of authoritarian regimes. The alliance between Russia and North Korea is part of a larger trend, the convergence of authoritarian regimes on the global stage. United by a shared disdain for democracy, human rights, and the liberal international order, these regimes are increasingly coordinating their actions to undermine Western influence and promote their own agendas. This axis of autocrats, stretching from Moscow to Beijing, and including countries like Iran, Venezuela, and Syria, poses a significant challenge to the current global order. Emboldened by their growing economic and military power, these regimes are increasingly assertive in challenging the status quo and reshaping the world in their own image. Their actions, from military interventions to cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns, are eroding democratic norms and institutions, fueling global instability. The rise of this authoritarian bloc has profound implications for global governance and the future of democracy. It underscores the urgent need for greater cooperation among democratic nations to counter this growing threat and defend the values and institutions that underpin the liberal international order. Trading sanctions for survival, North Korea's economic calculus. North Korea's involvement in the Ukraine conflict is driven by a desperate need for economic survival and strategic gains. Decades of economic mismanagement and international sanctions over its nuclear ambitions have left North Korea facing severe food shortages and economic hardship. Engaging in the conflict, despite the risks, could provide a crucial economic lifeline. Russia, under heavy Western sanctions, is keen to find allies to sustain its war efforts in Ukraine. North Korea, known for defying international norms, emerges as a valuable partner for Russia. In return for military support, North Korea is likely to gain hard currency, food, energy, and possibly dual-use technologies to enhance its military. This growing economic relationship between Moscow and Pyongyang reveals the limitations of sanctions as a foreign policy tool. It also highlights the extreme measures isolated regimes will take to ensure their survival, even if it means partnering with other pariah states and fueling distant conflicts. The West's response, a tightrope walk between condemnation and strategic calculation. The global community has unequivocally condemned North Korea's involvement in the Ukraine conflict. The United States, the European Union, and their allies have swiftly imposed new sanctions on North Korea, targeting individuals and entities involved in arms trafficking and other illicit activities. Yet, the real impact of these measures is uncertain, given North Korea's already heavily sanctioned economy and its adeptness at circumventing international financial systems. Beyond sanctions, the West faces a complex challenge in responding to North Korea's actions. On one side, there's an urgent need to deter further escalation and prevent the transfer of sensitive military technology from Russia to North Korea. On the other, the West must tread carefully to avoid actions that could inadvertently provoke Pyongyang or drive it closer to Moscow. The West's response to North Korea's involvement in Ukraine demands a nuanced and strategic approach, blending diplomacy, deterrence, and collaboration with regional actors to contain the situation and prevent a broader conflict. A new world disorder, echoes of a Cold War past, shadows of a turbulent future. North Korea's involvement in the Ukrainian conflict is a pivotal moment in global politics. This development signals the end of the post-Cold War unipolarity, ushering in a fragmented and unpredictable multipolar world. In this new era, alliances are shifting, old rivalries are re-emerging, and the rules-based international system is under immense pressure. The Ukraine conflict, with its global ramifications and North Korea's involvement, has laid bare the vulnerabilities in the current security framework. It underscores the limitations of traditional alliances and the urgent need for innovative global governance mechanisms to tackle the complexities of our interconnected world. We are entering uncharted territory, characterized by uncertainty, volatility, and the looming threat of great power competition. Navigating this new world disorder demands astute diplomacy, strategic foresight, and adaptability to the evolving power dynamics on the global stage. That's a wrap on today's deep dive into North Korea's role in the Russia-Ukraine war. What are your thoughts? How will this shape the future of global geopolitics? Share your insights in the comments below. If you found this video enlightening, hit that subscribe button and share it with your network. Until next time on Milwaukee Insights.